Should Jerry Jones have told Mike McCarthy and or Dak Prescott that he was trading for Trey Lance?
No, I don't think he really needs to do that. I mean, now the Mike McCarthy part, I think obviously McCarthy should be part of those discussions. And I think that's very interesting, that it doesn't sound like he was overly involved in those. I think that's telling for the Cowboys organization and how they work and how it's always worked, quite frankly, and probably says something about McCarthy's status there in Dallas, which I think a lot of people think is probably tenuous coming into this year. But that's how the Cowboys run their organization. They felt like there was value in getting Trey Lance. They want to get a young quarterback that if something happens to Dak can go in and make some plays and also start to develop someone behind Dak, because I think they know that Dak, they want him there. They're going to try to do everything they can to keep him there. But based on what they did with the last contract and how they butchered his contract the last time, Dan, in the situation, They know that Dak has crazy leverage to get even more money in his next deal.
How does this work out for Trey Lance?
Well, I think it's really strange that he went to the Cowboys. If you're the Niners, you don't care, right? I mean, you're going to get as much as you can. And I think that I guess where the Niners said they were surprised they got a 4th-round pick because you have to guarantee the over $5 million that he's making in 2024. I'm just surprised, I think, Dan, that none of these other teams, whether it's the Vikings or whoever, even teams that maybe have quarterback concerns, the Broncos, Fritzy's Broncos, maybe the Raiders, although Aiden O'Connell looked really good. I guess I'm surprised that none of these other teams that might go with young quarterbacks or might have quarterback situation, even like the Commanders, right? Like, why wouldn't the Commanders bring in Trey Lance in case Sam Howell falters? I'm a little surprised that the Cowboys, a team with an established quarterback, was willing to give up more than any of the other teams were.
Yeah, and Dallas has 2 better quarterbacks and 3 better quarterbacks. Dak, Will Grier, and Cooper Rush are better than Trey Lance. One of those is probably going to get cut because I don't think you make a deal like this for a 4th-round pick, and then can you keep 4 quarterbacks somewhere? Can you put one on the practice squad, or is it you get 3 quarterbacks you can put on the roster?
Well, so I think that's what they're going to do. I think they'll cut Will Grier and they'll put him on the practice squad would be my guess.
Okay.
I don't know if Will gets picked up elsewhere. He's bounced around a decent amount. There's other teams that have quarterbacks they like as well. But I actually think, Dan, that was the sense I got just seeing some Dak quotes and his body language. I think Dak was a little bit frustrated about that part of it. Will Grier goes out there and has like the game of his life. Yeah. It's probably not going to matter, although it always matters, right? Because if they do try to put him on practice squad, Grier going out there and playing that well does give him a chance to get picked up somewhere else. I do think it's funny too, Dan, that the 49ers didn't just keep Trey Lance as their 3rd guy. I mean, they're the ones that helped get this new rule so you can have 3 quarterbacks suit up on game day because of what happened in the NFC Championship game. And yet they still didn't think Trey Lance was even valuable enough to be number 3. I'm not even sure that they think Trey Lance is better than Brandon Allen. And I think they thought it would be better for Purdy and the entire organization to just move away from him and part ways.
Can you be a bust at 23?
I think you can be a bust from a 49ers perspective and for 49ers fans. The real difficulty now, Dan, is I don't know if he's ever going to really get that chance. He's under contract with Dallas for 2 more years now, this year and next year. When does I hope he gets another shot to actually start or play. I mean, Dan, they thought enough of him last year that he was their starter last year. Yeah. Remember when Jimmy Garoppolo wasn't even allowed to go to practices or anything? Jimmy was like on his own field because the Niners said, we are going to live with the growing pains of Trey Lance. He's going to play. We like him. And now he's in a situation where I don't know when he gets a chance to play again, but I think we'd all like to just give the kid a year. I mean, when does a guy get drafted that high and he doesn't even get a year? And the answer is Trey Lance because he got hurt. But I would love to see somebody somewhere give the kid a year to play and see what he can do. It's hard to say he's a bust when he's barely even played.
Yeah, but we've seen these reclamation projects where Geno Smith ends up with Seattle. Ryan Tannehill ends up with Tennessee. These guys eventually have that opportunity a second or third time around. And at age 23, if he has the talent, I think we got caught up in North Dakota State talent and thinking, oh, he can be just like Carson Wentz or Easton Stick or whatever it might. Well, he had to be better than Easton Stick. They gave up too much. But, he was great for a great team. And it just didn't. I said this first hour. If you can't be a good quarterback in Kyle Shanahan's system, then I have some real questions about that. Because Kyle Shanahan's the quarterback of the 49ers. Somebody goes out there and just, has to hand off and occasionally throw a pass.
Well, and the concerning part, Dan, is when you watched him this preseason, there's like wide open throws that I've had multiple people tell me on my show, that's the read in that offense. Like you throw it to that guy, and for whatever reason, only Trey Lance can answer. He wouldn't throw it to that guy. So I think from that perspective, he probably is a bust. If he doesn't correct that, doesn't get a chance to play, I do hope, though, that he gets the Tannehill, Geno Smith chance. I hope he makes the most of it.